Elden Ring has a ton of content, and I did all of it. All of it. I'm talking all bosses, all dungeons, all quests, all items, you name it. So the question you're asking yourself is, was it worth it?
No.
So let's first of all define 100% in this game. 100% to me means all content. I wanted to see everything the game has to offer, and have a save file preparing me for future DLCs and updates. Makes sense, doesn't it? And it was a lot of fun, but one of those requirements, unfortunately, was NPC quests. And that is where the fun ends. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Elden Ring, which is why I did this in the first place, but something about having to study wiki pages in advance to make sure I don't miss a vital detail of a quest that has very little description has always made me upset. Oh, you did not go back to an early game area to help this NPC again? Well, now the quest is over, have fun Energy Plus. But I digress. Another great part of this run was the very original dungeons. There are 4 types of dungeons: catacombs, caves, tunnels, and hero graves. And all of them are boring. I really don't mean to hate on the game, but they could have cut like, I don't know, 75% of them and I would have been more excited. As it stands now, I started dreading the last 20 or so because it just didn't feel like a new experience anymore. And don't get me started on hero graves. We do not talk about those. As for open world, it was alright. The areas are mostly all very beautiful and exploring was a nice time. But now, imagine spending hours making sure you pick up every single item, just for it to be the same useless item you found 20 times before. Yeah, that is probably the biggest reason to not 100% this game. So before you click off thinking this entire run was just not enjoyable, that is not exactly true. Instead, why don't you stay and consider leaving a like if you're enjoying it so far? While a lot of the content felt repetitive and reused, I still enjoyed it because this game just feels great to play. Even dungeon bosses, with a few exceptions, were fun because refighting them felt like a learning curve to me. After fighting Tree Spirit for 7 times, I was getting really good at it. In typical FromSoft fashion, the gameplay core is unbeatable. What this game really lacks is, well, the rest. The open world aspect is good for the first try, but it also makes it very obvious that it is in fact the first try. The world feels empty and dead, the quests are disconnected, and it just pales in comparison to games like Skyrim. An open world should feel alive. Imagine a movie with literally just main characters. Does that sound interesting to you? You would have empty cities, empty restaurants, empty cars, empty bathrooms, although the bathroom part would be kinda nice actually. It is very much just a Souls game on a bigger map. The boss-to-boss experience that we are all used to is still the same, especially after your first playthrough. But hey, that experience at least is still very, very good. Elden Ring's strength definitely lies in the boss fights. From fighting dragons in the most cinematic way, to fighting a very attractive muscular man, to challenging the Lord of the Underworld, and even a giant serpent, it is all right here in this game. And with the variety of spells, weapons, and Ashes of War offered in this game, there are so many creative ways to play the game. Or to avoid playing the game? But in the end, it was one hell of a journey, and I had a great time with it. Elden Ring is a great game, and while I would suggest you should do a 100% run, I would advise anyone to skip collecting items and maybe not care too much about the NPC quests for the very best experience. Maybe you disagree, maybe you enjoy those things, but for me, I will focus on what I enjoy the most, because that is what games are all about after all. But what will never change is the possibility and desire to hunt for secrets in FromSoft games, just like I did in this video right here. Do you wonder why there's a boss hidden below the map? I mean, just click it. Come on, do it.